That's the sound that you hear when your voice breaks in a room. And when you have no voice in a room, you forget how powerful you really are. I have been through a lot in my life. It's really hard to talk about. It's really hard to be vulnerable. And that's why this is so special to me, because it's helping me break out of that barrier as well. But ultimately, I want to thank God for having me be a vessel for so many firsts. Being the first Muslim and South Asian Miss DC, being the first woman of color to be chair-elect of the Arlington Chamber of Commerce, a county that is one of the top in the nation. And then being the youngest VP at my company. I mean, so many other things, but the failures have been the biggest success for me. And I go back to something that my mom taught me, and she probably doesn't even remember teaching me this. But she told me to always walk into rooms no matter how you feel. There are certain environments that you're just not made to feel comfortable. You're not supposed to feel comfortable. Don't be afraid to walk into those rooms that were not designed for you. And when we think about, for example, we tell our toddlers, play better safe than sorry. Is it worth the risk? But why do we teach our younger generation that? Does that even make sense? Because isn't the biggest thing that you can do, it's risky, but the regret that you have playing it safe, it follows you throughout life. And so I want to talk a little bit about the science behind it. So when you think about, how regret and pain and failure, you've heard it probably all the time in motivational speeches, but there's a science behind it. Cornell University actually researched it, and the pain of regret far exceeds the pain of failure. And the pain of failure, at least it's temporary. The pain of regret is not. And so when you think about that, when you think about the science behind it, even neuroscientists discovered that regret triggers the same brain centers as physical pain, as heartbreak. But unlike failure, it's not temporary. It doesn't go away. Let's look at examples throughout history. Vincent van Gogh, for example, he had 900 masterpieces throughout his lifetime. And guess how many he actually sold while he was alive? Just one. So imagine painting 900 pieces of art. And it's Vincent van Gogh, so it's good. And 899 times you failed. Would you keep going? I don't even know that I would. But he did, because he did it for him. It wasn't for the people, it was for him, it was his purpose. And that's powerful. When you look at J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter, everybody knows Harry Potter. We all know her story, though. She started off writing on napkins. She got denied by 12 publishers. She was on welfare. She was a single mom. But when you look at that story, why did she keep persisting? You heard it all. Oh, it's too witchy, it's too weird, it's too anti-Christian, all of that. But those 12 no's versus that one yes, now she has a theme park. So let's really just think about failure and how we really think about it in our brain, right? So instead of it being a roadblock, it's really a building block. And every time you hear the word no, that's cement around that. Every time you fail, that's construction material. And at the end of it, you're not building a wall. You're building a pedestal for you. Because you're thriving on that. All of that is built up knowledge. And I'll talk about my own story. I failed so much in life. I've had so much success, but it's only because of the failure. Even when I was in college, I think I tried biology, sociology, psychology, all of it. And I failed every time. My GPA was so low, it's embarrassing. And I hope nobody can relate to that. But it wasn't because I wasn't smart. I had no passion there. I didn't want to do it. I thought it was a safe way, and still I was just like, the first time I ever felt like I took a risk was when I got into politics. I worked for Delegate Rich Anderson, I worked for Attorney General Mark Herring, and then Governor McAuliffe. And what I'll say is, well, I'll say it directly from my dad's point of view. He said, well, what are you going to do when they're out of office? You're not going to have a job. And I was like, yeah, you're right. But somehow I didn't even think about the risk. I was just like, this is what I'm doing. I love it so much that it doesn't even matter. And when I first started lobbying, my first interview, I was like, you know what? I'm going to kill this. This is it. I got it. You know, I have white papers from the governor's office. I work with the attorney general, all this stuff. And the interview was going so well. And they stopped me right before I was going to leave. And they said, ma'am, I have to ask one last question. Do you play golf? And I was like, I mean, yeah, I played like putt-putt, you know. And so I was like, okay, whatever. So then the next day, somebody else gets a job who has no experience in politics, but he is a golfer. So for me, I was upset. But now I'm so grateful for that because I play in tournaments. I learn from that. And that is really the story of my life. Every single time somebody said, well, why did you choose her? Well, she wasn't even that good. That was great for me because I have such a vengeance where I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to take this failure and build up that pedestal so high they won't even be able to see me. And it goes back to my mantra that I've really lived with and lived, throughout my life. I think about the quote, well-behaved women seldom make history. And it's true. The only time there's ever change is when people break the mold, when we break barriers, when we think outside the box. I don't even know why there is a box. I don't know why we have these sayings that we teach our younger generation that don't really inspire. There shouldn't be a box. We shouldn't have to feel like we have to play it safe. And so when we're really thinking about this, I really do want you guys to understand that the world is huge. I just came back from Cape Town, Johannesburg, and it is such a beautiful, beautiful country. But in some areas, there's so much poverty. And this is the same with the Middle East, different places where I'm from, Pakistan too. And so we really can't afford to have any more people play it safe because there's so much we need to change in this world. And who's going to do it if everyone's playing safe? I've been fortunate enough to see this, at a young age because my parents were able to take me and show me that poverty. But it's real. And sometimes we may not realize it because we're in a bubble, but we need people to take risks. And when you look at the statistics, when you're, 40, 50, 60, 70 versus 20s, when you're in your 20s, you have a regret of action, right? Like, why did I do that? When you get older, it doubles for inaction. It's like, I wish I had done this. That's a big statistic. And so I do want everyone to really think about what my mom taught me. Don't be afraid to walk into that room. Take that risk. Because the world is not going to wait for anyone. They're not going to wait for you. You have to take that leap. Thank you.